Greetings. I believe that everyone has the ability to be able to defend themselves and should do the best that they possibly can. One of the best kept secrets of martial arts schools is that too often, after weeks, months, and even sometimes after years, you still don't know how to defend yourself. I'm willing to sit here and try to show you that it doesn't take all of those years of training, that you should be able to defend yourself in very short order. It still takes work to be very proficient. It takes years of training. And but in my Americanized version of Tai Chi, one of the first things that I do believe that every student should learn, and it's the responsibility of every teacher to teach, is self-defense. I have behind me a Melon, which I use any number of things as analogs for the human body, which gives me just a little resistance, enough to get an idea of feeling whatever item it is that I'm using as a point of self-defense. Again, this is just a simple chopstick. I could just as well use knives. Make sure that it's good steel, of course. These are normal everyday kitchen knives. And as I am so wont to do, I've just ruined another one. This is why you want good tools. So the basic things that I'm concerned about is that, you know, having some of you now are entering into martial arts. And unfortunately, I had a situation a few days ago where 10 teenage terrorists in my neighborhood attacked 3 of my good friends. They slapped them, punched them, beat them, kicked them, and stomped them. If they'd been in any better shape, if they hadn't been watching so many video games or eating so many pizzas, 3 of my neighbors would be dead now. I have a bit of an attitude about that. I'll just tell you that up front. But I just want you to know that there are any number of ways to defend yourself. Oh, I forgot the attention getter. And this is unscripted, and this is often the best way to get a little bit of tenderness out of people. This is a practice sword. It is not sharp. This is the 5th of my swords, which have all been broken and or bent beyond use. Truth of the matter is, I would prefer a good piece of wood, such as I have here now, as opposed to having this imitation metal. Again, this is not sharp, but the key to the blade, as well as your attitude in martial arts and self-defense, it's not about the weapon. The weapon is only an extension of you. So, again, using the same melon as an analog, all right? Hey! 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 It is, again, once more, my final sword is bent and useless, which is good. All of that's very good. The truth of the matter is, I have bent, broken, and ruined 5 swords and 2 staves in the last few months. It's because I'm still looking for this different Americanized way of looking at self-defense and martial arts. But So that was my attention getter. Do note, which I didn't see, that in cutting the melon, I also hit this wood analog, which I also use. I like to use things around me. That's not enough to put on show displays of anything. And this too is why I have lost 5 of my swords. Let me change the angle in this. I'm all by myself today. There. That one's okay. But again, my point after all of this is to show you or demonstrate to you, again, this how you can in fact use even these imitation tools. And notice I use my staff, I use my sheath, another ruined tool, to try and get my point across. Again, in this whole notion of self-defense, we could start out, a very good tool is the bat. Make sure if you use one of these that you keep it in your car, in your home. Make sure you have a baseball glove as well as a ball to go along with it. The reason for that being, unfortunately, the criminals have as many or more rights than we do, and they know how to scream for them. Always protect yourself. Again, truth has made a liar out of me. My old rotten piece of wood, I use it to extreme. But the first thing that I would say to you as far as self-defense, you have a natural proclivity to do one of two things. One is to fight, which many instructors will tell you they're teaching you how to do. And another is flight, which is to run. I believe every instructor ought to deal with those two things first. Flight, since it's so natural, is the idea of running, should be the first thing you're taught. Run, run, run. If it's possible at all, run. You're inclined to do it, your body wants to do it, yield to it. That second, and to run evasively, have somebody chasing you, all right? Have somebody reaching out for you. The whole time, just really acting out that whole notion of that natural, intuitive thing of getting away, flight. The next thing is fight, which you will spend many years doing if you ever start studying this stuff. But the unfortunate truth, the nasty secret of martial arts is that it takes you years to become accomplished at it. Years of dedicated practice and everything else. And I have found people who, after all of those years, still lack the ability to defend themselves. When you sit back and do nothing but practice missing or always pulling your punches, then in a real fight, you're probably going to be doing the same thing. If in my archery, my bow and arrow, if all I'm doing is practicing missing the bullseye, then I will in fact miss the bullseye, okay? But again, we're talking about just some common sense things that you could possibly do. One of those things is to scream. Learn how to scream. Try it now. Scream as loud as you can. You hesitated. That's my point. All right, you should learn your primal scream. For Josh and those who ever knew my mother, your grandmother, she could scream. Remember how she sounded in church? Ah! All right. Ah! It was her primal scream. All right. That's one of the first things you should do. That is a part of your defense, is to scream. If you ever sat back and mother at the same time in that very same church would start tapping her foot, you want to sit back and be able to harness that. By the way, notice, I just screamed and nobody's here to help me. Nobody. But you want to be able to tap all of that energy, that is nervousness, the adrenaline rush, the fear, and everything else. But scream. Run, scream. If you have, invest in a whistle. That can at least get somebody's attention. It can disorient the person who is attacking you. Or you can run and scream, you know? Okay? While evading that person. Sometimes just getting their attention away, or the noise itself will sit back and distract them long enough for you to find safety. But again, with my scream and with my whistle, I still don't have any help. So we're getting down to the basics once again of what are you going to do. All right. Here, the very same set of keys. As I sit back and I might take these keys and put them in my hand like so, using those to go toward the eyes, the soft tissue, this part of the throat, this part of the temple, into the ear canal itself. All right, is another way of doing such things. I could sit back and take these keys and just swing them. Again, looking to hit someone. Anyone can be taught to lie on a bed of nails. Not one yogi or anybody else will lie on just one nail. And this is all you're trying to do, is to get an immediate, quick response from the individual. All right? Lacking the keys and all of that, let's get down to basics, which is just your hand. Supporting your thumb here on the back. It's to jab toward the eyes here, or if they're behind you, here. Jabbing as hard and quickly as you possibly can. Don't be of the mind that you're going to hit them the first time off. They might not. So you jab, jab, jab. Okay? Basically what you want to do is like take advantages of those things about their body, which deal with the five senses. One is vision, another is hearing, another one is feeling, tasting, and whatever. But any of those things that bring information in the body can bring grief and havoc upon the person who is attacking you. So again, going toward the eyes, going toward the mouth, with the same thing, going toward the throat, ears, just any such place. For those of you who think that you're going to sit there and throw a kick to a guy's groin and he's going to fall, not necessarily so. Again, that comes with training, because probably the first thing you will do is you're going to look at his groin and he's going to know it's coming. It's not as easy as you think it is to kick a guy in the groin, okay? This training comes from just sitting back and focusing on one thing and doing something else, you see? So even though I'm looking in one direction, I'm striking, say, in another, okay? I don't have to turn around to see the effect of what I'm doing. So we've done keys, we've done thumb. You can also use your middle knuckle of this hand if it's strong especially. Learn how to practice using that. Going again toward the eyes, going toward the soft tissue here in the temporal area or in the throat. Needless to say, you have any number of things from the household that can do the same thing, which is your frying pan, using all parts of it. Here, the pan, the side, the handle, again the side, here. You can use this also Again, toward those same areas I'm talking about before, just a regular frying pan. It's not only good for offense, it's good for defense as well. You can use it to shield yourself. Okay? Again, I'm using this aluminum plate to do the same thing. If they can't see it, they can't block it, right? More important than some of this, if you are of a mind, one of my favorites is just a can of pepper spray. I don't know what's legal in your state, in your jurisdiction, but if they are legal, get yourself several of these. One for the car, if they're legal, one for the house at least, and one for your bag. Always have it, okay? I could go on and on about some of this. Taking your shoe, using just that. All right, it's effective. There's just no end to what you can do possibly to defend yourself. Anyway, this is my legacy to you. After all these years accumulating this wit, I feel I should be able to try and transfer it to you in a matter of 10 minutes or less. Try some of these things, but most importantly, explore whatever works for you, okay? And so, again, to recap, first urge between fight and flight is flight. Run. Run, 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 run fast, run long, get away from that aggressor. Scream, make noise, get in touch. Let's hear you scream now. Is it any better? Is it loud enough? Did anybody come to your assistance? Perhaps not. You throw in this other one. I said the senses that you're going to appeal to is just simply this: cupping your hand, learning to cup your hand like so, and do this here. Again, you would use this against an aggressor who has gotten his arms around you, whatever. And the point is not only not the sound. The sound is not the point, but to sit back and cup your hands over their ears and rupture the eardrums. It's not just a painful experience, but that also disorients their equilibrium. All right. So after you've done this, and if you've been successful, they're going to lose their balance. They will not be able to chase you because you're doing that first thing. What you have to begin with is to run, flight. Okay. Unfortunately, again, I say though that the old notion of fighting is too often interpreted to mean that, or comes out to be that, you can only fight somebody or defeat somebody who is less than you are. That's the reality of it, okay? But I don't hold to that either. That's why in Tai Chi, the Americanized version, according to me, all right, self-defense is about that. When you're defending your life, or your child's, or your husband's, or your spouse's, what you do is you take all the good rules of all the good games. It doesn't matter whether it's boxing, baseball, football, or whatever, and take the ones they tell you not to do. That's what becomes a part of my system of thinking in American Tai Chi Kung Fu, which is to get away from there and to survive. Take care, kids.